Hi guys, we are live for tonight's episode of the Xander Gibb Show. It is Friday, thank Crunchy. We're just going to populate the feeds, share the links, and you can use this time to grab a quick cup of tea or whatever floats your boat. Apparently we're live on YouTube. Hello to everyone that's watching on YouTube. And apparently a lot of people like to watch the show on the television to see me in all my glamour and beauty, which I think is quite funny. So we are just getting set up. As I said, pre-production mode. It is Friday, the 6th of the 6th. 2020. And shut up, Xander. Hello, chat. We are a little early, just getting set up. I don't like to watch myself back. I always kind of just go back and look at the levels and stuff like that. But I think you got to be quite vain to sit and watch the whole thing of yourself on the TV, because you get to see all the lines and wrinkles, and because you know your own face, you kind of want to. You're questioning yourself. Was that mole there last week? Etc. Etc. We are live for the Xander Gibb Show. We are live for the Xander Gibb Show. Can't even spell my own name today. Who else is glad that it's Friday? Because I sure am. Please share and come join us. If you are in the live feed, or you are watching and you're not in the live feed, please make sure you hit that share button while we are just sharing the live feed. And sharing the YouTube feed too, as I said. So those of you, I take care of you guys. For those that want to watch it on the widescreen, I want to get one of these movie viewing rooms, like those really popular, and you have this whole wall that is the TV screen. Just imagine my mug on that big screen. I think people would be running out. I was in a film a few years ago when I lived in New York. You can find that on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you what it's called. But it was quite weird seeing myself again on the huge screen. But it was quite exciting. It's nice going to the premiere of your own movie. And I will definitely be doing that again, I hope, as more roles come forward, as I'm feeling well and fit. Let's just come to the live feed before we go into opening mode. Chip says he went swimming in the pool today with his little dudes. I bet they enjoyed that. Was it warm? That's what I want to know. Hello to my Gina. I'm going to come and say hello to everybody. But what I'm going to do now is, because we never get enough time together, I am going to play the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits.
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really gets you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. I know it's not your mother's basement, because if it was, you would hear me broadcasting from there. In fact, you're probably in there yourself right now. Live from an undisclosed location. The cue prompter gives me all this hassle for the very best in Patriot broadcasting, 5 nightly, quite rightly. I'm Xander Gibb, because who else would I be? And on today's show, I get on my soapbox and give you the chance to get on yours too in our phone in. Dr. Gerard Lamiro drops by and in part 2, Swoop from Swoop's World swoops in to break down today's hottest topics. You can have your say in the feed below, and as usual, I will be sharing our comments as we go along. You can call in when we get to that section. In the United States, it's 845-363-4747. You can see it just here. Yes, just there, 845-363-4747. And if you're in the UK, you can call, look at my perfectly manicured nails, 0208-133-5274 when we get to the phone in. Oh, yes, sirree. You can follow me on all social media, including Twitter. I am the Recalcitrant Hen, so go and check me out on there. And be sure to share this show. Anybody that doesn't share the show today will reap a penance on themselves. Don't you like it when you get those emails saying, if you do not share this email with 50 other people, your roof will fall down, etc., etc. Hello to everybody in the live feed, and hello to everyone who's watching this not in the live feed. Hello to my brother Chet from Freedom on Deck. Hello to Gina. Hello to Mike. Chet says I should record a political album. I don't know how that would go. Kind of like Irish drinking songs kind of thing, you mean. So it's time for my soapbox. With 2.5 million jobs added in May, we're on the way to making America great again. We have a long way to go, but it is an amazing start. And if we can now concentrate on opening up the blue states and getting people back to work, if the Democrats can just get back the hell off, and then we can truly build upon this marvelous start. Let's see if the media try and credit Barack Obama for this. So the Chinese hackers are allegedly targeting the personal email accounts of campaign staff and members working for former Vice President, or should that be President or Vice, Joe Biden. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave China the passwords, because clearly he's in their pocket. Confirming previous reports that Iran has targeted President Trump's campaign. Now, in disclosing these attempts, the attacks appear to be conventional spear phishing attacks, similar to the Russian breach of John Podesta. Yeah, we all know about that pizza boy. His personal emails were attacked in 2016 when he was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager and personal adrenochrome provider. Allegedly, maybe one shouldn't have political emails on a private server, and then maybe they couldn't be attacked. Now, the privileged children of the protected continue to state on criminality and get the softly approach in protecting and following terrorists, i.e. Antifa. Now, Bill Murray's son was held without bail following a Black Lives Matter protest. Bill de Blasio's daughter is still waiting for them to find her bench ticket. But surprisingly, Whoopi Goldberg speaks out against the rioting and looting, and not in favor of it for a change. Who would have thought? Now, if you support the defunding of the police, should you sign a waiver saying you'll never call the police again for any reason for the rest of your life? And if you have private security, should you have to give that up too? I think so. Why should you get to make the decisions that affect us all and not be affected by it yourself? Now, during this week's protests in Chicago, Chicago's Mayor Lori Bug-Eye Living Dead Lightfoot ordered over 300 cops to protect her house while small businesses were being set on fire. Isn't that rather concerning? to say the least. That people trash cops until they lead them. That's liberal logic for you. And I'm here to tell you folks, blue lives matter. Now in Guadalajara, Mexico, a police officer was set alight by a banging mob of protesters. That's clearly okay because cops' lives just don't matter. Let's treat every police officer badly because of the actions of a few, because that's obviously fair in the liberals' books. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, I love my Rudy, had a run-in with Piers Morgan, a British TV presenter today, and I use the term very loosely, failed newspaper journalist who fluctuates between support for Trump and dissing him. Morgan the Organ, as we call him over here, was rude to Rudy regarding President Trump's tweets, saying, Rudy, actually, I concurred with him saying that President Trump should tweet more. I totally agree because what it does is it triggers the left and it also gets people talking about things. And finally, this is quite funny, so get ready for this. Many are shaving their heads in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, rendering themselves in the image of Nazis, which I think is hilarious. Go ahead, fools. This is boundless. You look like a fascist to prove that you're not a fascist. You got me there. Don't forget to check me out on TikTok if you need a smile, and you can also follow us on YouTube at Madrigal Media. That was my soapbox for today. If you want to get on your soapbox, you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. Oh, yes, sir. Don't forget about our drinking game where you can take a sip of whatever you like when I turn around and say, oh, yes, sirree. Hello to Swoop, who is my guest in part 2. Chet says Biden is a joke. I agree. And he says TikTok is what Obama hears when he sleeps. Yeah, I bet he is pretty worried now. Him and his husband. Haha. Yes, 2 good guests for tonight. Now we have time for a couple of calls. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Or if you're in the United Kingdom, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Call us now. Yes, for sure. Him and Big Mike. Him and Big Mike, indeed. What is going on here? So yes, indeed, give us a call. The lines are open. Tell us what you think about Sleepy Joe Biden. You can also tell us. What you think about the treatment of the cops. You can call in about anything you please. You can call about the idiocy of Mr. What's his name? Oh, I can't think of his name. Piers Morgan. Morgan the Organ, as we call him in the UK. If you are in the live feed, please click that share button. People seem to have an aversion to it. But it's very easy to do. All you do is take your mouse or take your finger, you go to the top of the page, and you click the button that says share. It's that simple. Because every day people are kind of not doing it when they could be doing it. And I think it's a little disingenuous. You know, we don't get paid for doing this show. We're actually doing this show in order to try and ensure that President Trump gets re-elected. So I think the least people could do that are listening to the show is click that share button. Do that now. That would be a great gesture. Do something for me. Do something for your country. Click that share button. The lines are open. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Call us now. And Facebook is doing that thing where it's making you kind of share one at a time. to deter you from sharing. But we don't get deterred on this show. We actually get people. We get people elected. Chet, let me call you. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. Where are we? Can't see you. Here we go. Let's call Chet. I think it's a New York thing. It happened with a couple of New York callers yesterday. Let's see if we can get Chet on the line. It's not letting me call you for some reason. Maybe it is your number, Chet, that's the problem. Nope, it's not letting me call you. Let me restart the Skype and see. Try again now, because I think it's because there's two versions of the Skype. If you want to try again now, maybe it will work. I'm just sharing our show to a group called It's Okay to Be White, which is kind of interesting for the times that we're living in, given that people are apologizing for being white, which is rather ridiculous, to say the least. If you try again, Chet, hopefully it will let you get through now. So give us a call, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Tell us what is bothering you. Tell us what you think should happen next with regards to the president and whether he should send in the National Guard, because I rather think that it's about time for that, especially in places like New York, where the leadership has clearly declined somewhat. Well, I say declined, it's kind of got worse from day one of the inception of their leadership. And what they seem to be doing is, they talk about this new normal, and Laurie Lightfoot was talking about it as well. It's kind of like their New World Order response, which I find it rather concerning that they're doing that. What do you think? Give us a call, 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. We need to get some more people calling into the show to tell us their opinion about what's going on in these United States. It's still not letting you call. Right, let me try one more thing. All right, let me see if it lets me call you. No. You know what, Chet? You can try, you can call on the messenger phone. See if that will let you through. I don't know why the Skype is not working tonight. It's kind of concerning. Let's return to the chat room. Hello, if you have just joined us. You are listening to the Xander Gibb Show. Yeah, maybe Cuomo did. Apparently, a lot of people in the New York area are having problems with their phones right now due to the increased radio activity from the phone, from the police activity. So that really could explain that. I don't know why it's doing this. I really don't. And I must apologize, but I will speak to them. It just said me I don't have any credit, but I have an account. So there's no way that is the case. Clearly, there is a problem with the Skype. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Give us a try on the messenger phone, chat. That should indeed go through, because I don't think maybe Zuckerberg is doing something with that too. It seems they are trying to stop the show, which is which is not unusual for this show. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Give us a call. I saw a lot of reactions on Twitter today to Dr. Michael Savage, who was also saying, should Donald Trump stop tweeting? And I responded, hell no, he should, tweet a lot more. And for the reasons that I already stated. And a lot of people responded to me, but it's weird how some people, here we go. This is Chet calling us live from Long Island, if it ever goes through. Hello. Can you hear me, Chet? Hello.
Yes, Sandman, it's Chet.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was just getting the machine, so it wouldn't let me go through that way.
Weird.
So
I don't know why it's doing that to people in New York. I'm going to have to check that out, why it's doing that tomorrow. So what particularly has jumped out at you today?
well, while I was out at work, I saw a lot of protesters in some of the local districts. There was a lot of them in a town called Sag Harbor, where actually Fredo owns a house over there, so he's probably there, and a few others. And you'd be proud when I drove by them, and I screamed Trump 2020, and they all turned and started yelling. But I got out of there pretty quick. It's all over Long Island right now. We're seeing this ridiculous stuff with the elderly man that went and got thrown to the ground.
Right.
And the media is making it look like he was an innocent. What they found out, what Michael Savage was talking about today, was that this guy is a troublemaker and he's a known leftist. And he went to those two policemen and he grabbed the one guy.
Wow.
And when you see cops being executed all week long, and you're out there at one of these protests, and somebody grabs you, or if somebody grabbed me, I'm going to throw them to the ground too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
I think if I was a cop right now, I would probably be overcautious because from the perspective of having to go out there and make life-changing decisions every second, surely if someone comes towards you, you're going to be thinking, are they going to hit me? Are they going to assault me? Do you wait until they do that, or do you protect yourself in the interim?
Yeah, at the end of the day, everybody wants to go home.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. The cops want to go home too. They have a family at their house that they need to go home to. But like I said in the feed last night, in this climate, who the hell would want to be a cop?
Not me.
Isn't that a sad thing to say?
It is. Because you know what this is going to translate to? I think that anybody can get out of the force now is going to do that. And we're going to have less people going to the academy next year, which means fewer protections. And I'm not dissing them for this, but why should they put their life at risk when the authorities like, Cuomo and De Blasio can't let them do their job? And in not letting them do their job, he puts a target on their back and the backs of the public too.
Absolutely. And when they're talking about the militarization of the police, where they're wearing riot gear, what do you expect them to wear when pallets of bricks are being dropped off where these rallies are taking place? Not rallies, these riots. I'm sorry. Where this is happening, they're giving the kids that are in there these bricks to throw at the police, and at the small businesses and the citizens. It's terrible.
Absolutely, and I think that the concern is this is just so contrived, it's so planned, and I think they must have been planning all of this for quite some time, because it's too easy planned.
I agree.
For it to be, for it to be anything but.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't happen naturally, and I think the bottom line is, like you said, they waited for this. It was all too convenient that it came around the same time that everybody had been inside for 3 months.
Right.
But, yet, Xander, we turn around and today President Trump's got the economy booming again. There's just no way that would have happened under Barack Obama, because the people that have the traits, the people that are running the stocks out of New York City, they realize that President Trump is good for the economy,
right,
and that's why we had today as a good day. If you had this going on when Barack Obama was the president, the media would be covering it, or they would be twisting it. It would never affect his numbers.
No.
It's
No.
It's so sad that so many people hate Trump when he's done so many good things. And whether you like his tweets or how he's braggadocious, how he has a way of talking that can sometimes be harsh and hard, we need harsh and hard.
We do right now.
Needs it. We need some tough love, Sam.
We absolutely do. Vicky is saying in the live feed that he was handing the officer his helmet, but I think that must be a different person. We're talking about the person in upstate New York.
Correct.
But I don't think he was handing the helmet to the officer.
Well, she may be talking. I'm not sure what Vicky's talking about. There are some clips that they released of the incident where it was shortened, but if you see the whole interaction, he rushed the cops and he grabbed them. He wasn't delivering the helmet.
That guy did,
and
yeah.
Afterwards, the guy ends up in the hospital. He's a 75-year-old man. And I'm not saying to go out and beat the elderly up, but come on, these cops think that they're going to be executed in the streets.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I'm really sorry to cut you.
They feel.
Absolutely. I'm really sorry to cut you short, but we got to leave it there. Because my next guest is calling in. But thank you so much for calling, Chet Martin, and we will speak to you again very soon. So my first guest on tonight's show is Dr. Gerard Lamiro, who is an author, political analyst, and expert on forecast models. He's the author of 5 books, latest of which is Real World Socialism, and is a popular TV and radio talk show guest. Dr. Lamiro has been called by media hosts America's #1 political analyst and the Nostradamus of political elections. He joins us now live from the United States of America. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Lamiro. How is the world with you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's great to be back with you. You have a fine lineup of guests every week.
Absolutely, we sure do. Only the best on this show. So I really want to jump right in. I know you're. I can never remember where you are, but I know you're on Mountain Time. So have these riots and protests and looting, have they affected you? Have they kind of been close to where you live? Hello? We lost Dr. Lamiro. I don't know what happened there. I hope he's going to call us back. We're having some Skype issues tonight. Just while we wait for Dr. Lamiro to call back, Dr. Lamiro's latest book, I'm quoted in that book, which is a real honor. I'm just hoping he's going to call us back any second, because we are having some problems. I don't know if that was the same person, Vicky. I think that I think a few people have. There have been a few altercations with police officers. Here we go. I think this is Dr. Lamiro calling us back. Sorry about that. Sorry, we did indeed. I'm so sorry about that. So I just got through asking you if the area where you live had been affected by riots and looting, etc.
Yes, I live in Colorado, which is
right
adjacent to the Rocky Mountains, in the Mountain Time Zone, as you indicated. And there were damage done to stores and rioting in Denver, Colorado Springs, and demonstrations elsewhere within the state. So
Right.
yes, it's been affected.
Right, and has that kind of prompted you? Because obviously everybody's been on lockdown, and I don't think we've spoken to you since the lockdown. But a lot of people have an ideology that the Democrats are behind a lot of this because the impeachment failed. Then they politicized the coronavirus pandemic, and now. This, it's terrible that this guy got killed. Everyone's entitled to due process and should not be killed, even if they've committed a crime. But the response to this has just gone crazy.
Well, the response seems to be a group of outside agitators who have used this as an excuse for other reasons. And there are two things going on here. There are the militant socialists out there who are basically nihilists and seek just the ruin of America. They're anti-America. They'd like to bring down this country, and they seem to just are into wanton destruction and chaos. That's one line of thinking. The other thing that concerns me, besides that, which is obviously wrong, the other thing, though, is that the blue state governors and the blue city mayors, the Democrats who are in control of many states and many cities, are basically overlooking the violence. They're allowing people to be attacked.
Right.
There have been police officers killed. There have been citizens killed. There has been fires, looting, theft of property galore. And various mayors and governors have failed to bring in the National Guard as quickly as they should. Some cases they dragged their feet and eventually got some help from the National Guard. And they didn't use their police forces. New York City has a police force of 38,000 people. It's practically a small army.
Right.
And yet they had them stand down. The mayor of New York, according to one source, said that the mayor called the commanders in the police department and said, "Don't arrest them."
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah. Because how can we expect any level of protection for the public or the police themselves when these liberal leaders are actually giving the direction to have a softly approach to criminals? Because let's face it, in any normal time, if you broke into a store and stole their cash machine or looted Target and stole TVs, they would not turn a blind eye to that. But what I really want to know from you, Dr. Lamiro, is do you think that there is a huge underlying political reason for this? And will it? I'm going to get you to expand on that. But is it going to work? Is it going to stop us being able to reelect President Trump?
No. Well, first of all, the answer is yes, there is a political reason.
Right.
Almost nothing happens in this country these days, especially when you're dealing with socialists, and these are socialists. The Democratic Party has morphed into the Socialist Party. Not directly. It took years, decades, but they turned from a liberal party to a progressive party, and now they're outright socialists. And I believe there's a political motivation. Why? It's very simple. In 2016, Donald Trump got 8% of the Black American vote, the African American vote. And you would think, oh, well, that's something. It's a lot more than people got in the past. Usually about 95%, 100% of Black Americans voted for the Democratic Party no matter what for the last 50 years. But Donald Trump made an inroad and got 8%. The Rasmussen poll today, we learned, has Donald Trump getting 40% approval among Black Americans. And in my model, he's going to get 42% of Black votes. With 42% of Black votes, he coasts to an easy re-election victory over anybody that's in the Democratic Party. And that's why I think this is a last
Yes.
desperate effort to somehow try to tell the black people, oh, you got to vote for Democrats because we're the only ones who are going to protect you. You know, the president's racist, he's a white supremacist, all the names in the book they call him.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is, here we have the Rasmussen poll today even saying the blacks are supporting Trump in greater and greater numbers.
Thank
Why?
God.
Because he's done them a good service.
Yeah.
He's gotten the best unemployment numbers in history.
Yeah. Isn't
They're
that
doing well.
Isn't that, I hear all of these things and people say to me, Xander, as an openly gay man, why do you support a homophobic president? I'm like, homophobic where? Why do you support a racist president? Give me some examples of this racism. Because of course they can't give you those examples because there are none. But what does it say about any president that under their administration, they have made the African unemployment rate the lowest ever? What does that say?
Exactly. And I'll tell you something else. These riots and allowing Antifa and other radicals to riot and burn down buildings and stores, do you know who's being hurt? The really poor. The inner city poor who are too poor to own a car. They need mass transportation. They need a bus or a subway or something to get across town to other stores because all their neighborhood stores have been burned and looted.
Right.
And a lot of them are owned by minority people. They struggled all their life to start a business.
Yeah.
And they were shut down because of the coronavirus, and that's another ridiculous thing that happened. And
Right.
That's another story, a political story, I believe. And here, these people are hurt the most. And so the Democrats, who are not engaging the National Guard, not engaging their police force, not protecting their citizens, are not only in violation of their constitutional and legal duties to protect the public, but they're also hurting the very people they're supposedly trying to help.
Right.
And that's why there's going to be a massive turnout this year in the
Right.
election that's going to basically give Donald Trump a tidal wave of support. This is going to be a historic election.
Wow. But this, I want to clarify this point with you because I get so angry when I hear people say, oh, it's a landslide, going to be a landslide victory. Well, I hope that it is, but I don't want that to translate into people thinking, oh, well, I can stay at home. So I think it's a dangerous
No, it's going to be a
thing.
landslide because they're going out to vote.
Right.
Not because they're staying home.
Absolutely. Now, the Democratic Party has been historically racist. There are videos going around right now from 20 years ago of Hillary Clinton calling black people super predators and saying that they should be brought to heel. Even just a couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden, it was about a week ago actually, was on Charlamagne the God Show and turned around and said, if you vote for Donald Trump, then you ain't black. How much more evidence does the black community need of the discriminatory nature of the Democratic Party? Because it's all it's all about identity politics. They're only interested in gay people, black people, ethnic minorities when it suits them.
Absolutely. And if you go back all the way to the Civil War, it's the Democrats who were against the blacks, really. They were the slave owners.
Right.
And they were the ones who put up a fight, didn't want to allow busing and desegregation when America went through those trials and tribulations trying to get equality for all. And they're the ones who've been claiming for the last 10 years or so that there's organized racism. Well, if there's a racism in the cities or in the police departments, who's running those cities and who's running those police departments? It's Democrats who are to blame.
Right.
And Biden, who says he's going to change the system if he's elected, and he's not going to be elected, but he says he's going to work with the police to change things. Why didn't he do that when he was vice president? Why didn't Obama, who was a black president, why didn't he talk to the police department that they had their chance, they've made their promises, and they've broken their promises? That's why many blacks have gone along with Donald Trump's reasoning that what do you got to lose to go with him? And so far, they've done really well.
Absolutely.
They haven't lost at all. They've
No.
done well.
For sure. I mean, it's black people in America, have never had it so good. I do believe that one of the key elements of why I support Donald Trump is that he doesn't distinguish between one American and another, and his objectivity is to make America better for every American, not just white Americans, not just black Americans, not just Latino Americans, everybody, and that seems to set him apart for me as a president.
Well, he's a populist, meaning he really relates to the average person.
Right.
He's not an elitist. He's not a snob. He may be rich because he worked hard,
Right.
but he's a hard-working person. He's a working man's worker. And they like it, they relate to him, and if you talk to people who work for him, the people who drive the dual bulldozers and the dirt movers and things like that, they'll tell you he comes and talks to them when he was in the business of making golf courses. He'll talk to them and say, what's your problems? How can I help you?
Yeah.
I mean, he related to them when he was a business owner and primarily just a manager. And he was a good manager, and his people knew it, and they loved him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny, I think he was a victim of his own success with the show that he did. Everyone saw him as this guy that says you're fired, which was clearly a role that he played. And so then to actually show people the real Donald Trump, a lot of people, including myself, and I consider myself not to be a stupid person, but that's who I thought he was, but clearly that's not who he is. Your latest blog is called Anarchy versus the Rule of Law, and I guess that speaks into a lot of what's going on in America today.
Right. And what I meant by this article was the fact that I think the Democrats on the left are using the anarchy and allowing it to run rampant in the cities to basically try to drum up votes, get Black American votes to drop their support of Trump and go back to the Democratic Party where they've been for 50 years. But I think they're missing the point because the American people are not into getting rid of the police force. They like the police. They love their police officers.
Yeah.
It protects their neighborhoods. And they want the rule of law. And that's what Trump is going to campaign on. That's what he's going to be fighting for in the next few weeks. And that's why he's even threatened to use the military, which the military are, some of them are gas. But the generals are two types of generals. The people who fight the wars and the people who get political jobs.
Right.
And I think a lot of political generals have attacked Trump because they're paving the way for their future jobs in case Biden gets elected president.
Oh, God.
And they want to be in his good spirits and that. And I really believe, though, the American people are going to fool the Democrats once again, just like British folks fooled the pollsters when it came to Brexit.
Yes.
And I think it's going to happen here. That, they say, oh, Biden's the leader now. Biden's ahead in the swing states. He's not ahead anywhere.
No.
He's just holding on by a thread. He can barely put two sentences together in a row that are coherent.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to debate Donald Trump, and he's certainly not going to be able to convince the American people that he should be president. American people have very low voter enthusiasm and voter intensity for him, which is bad because that's exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton. Nobody really liked her that much, and they weren't willing to go out of their way to vote for her.
Absolutely.
It's the same way this time. And in addition, the people who are more conservative, and actually a lot of independents now, are so fired up about how this country is being damaged by the Democratic Party, even in the cities, in the blue states, in the blue cities, and around the country, that they're out to vote against them. I think it's going to be a devastating loss for the Democratic Party. It will also envision what's going to happen next year that I predicted long ago, and that is the Democratic Party will finally shut down as a party. Nobody
Yes.
says you have to have a party forever.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you came on today because your words have kind of given me a little hope because I did get a bit of wobbly there. As you know, I've started doing my show 5 nights a week, not because I want to stay up until 2 and 3 in the morning in the UK, but because I want to do my bit to save America and ensure that we can survive for at least another 4 years. We have to leave it there, Dr. Lamiro, but tell people where they can find you and more importantly, where they can buy your books.
Right. Well, I normally write an article every week, and it's on greatnewsforamerica.com. It's all written out in words. Great News for America. No spaces, no dashes, just greatnewsforamerica.com. And they can buy all 6 of my books. I'm now up to 6 books, if you include the newest one.
Wow.
Are in print and in electronic Kindle version on Amazon. They can get them. They can also order them from bookstores, but not all bookstores carry all books. And so if your bookstore doesn't carry it, just ask them to carry it because it's in
Absolutely.
print.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you so much, Dr. Gerard Lamiro. All of his contact information is on the Xander Gibb show page for today, and I hope you will come and join us again very soon. Stay safe, Dr. Lamiro, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was the fabulous Dr. Gerard Lamiro. Go and check out his website and his books. The latest one is particularly interesting, not least because I'm quoted in it, because I'm that kind of guy, I'm quotable. So make sure you go and check him out. So my next guest is the host of Swoop's World and a regular guest on our show. He's going to be joining me live from the USA very soon. The one, the only, the fabulous Swoop. He should be joining us any minute. CV says, how about the economy? Did you see the new jobs and the Dow Jones this morning? Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning. It's great, and I think it's a good start. And I really did need to hear this from Dr. Lamiro today. Let's welcome my next guest to the show, the one, the only, the fabulous Swoop. How is the world with you, Swoop?
What's going on, X-Man? I'm all good, man. Glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure to speak to you. Now, I always forget where you live because when we first became friends, you lived in California, but you live somewhere else now. What have there been riots around you? Have you been affected? And what's your response to it? Don't tell me I lost chat. Swoop. Darn it. I am so sorry about this, folks. Here we go. Hi, Swoop. I'm sorry about that. We've been having some problems with the Skype tonight. So, did you hear my question, or should I repeat it?
I think you're asking where I'm living now. I'm living in Oklahoma. I think that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and I was asking about have there been riots and looting, etc. there, and how has that affected you?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of it in Oklahoma City. It hasn't affected me. I'm about, 15, 20 minutes away from where they were doing that. I don't think it got out of hand as it did in some other places and some of the places I previously lived on the West Coast. But things have been pretty decent around here. Good.
We where I am, there's actually been no looting and rioting, but in London they've had a lot of kind of incidents and Black Lives Matter UK events, which I was not invited to for some reason. but we can talk a little bit more about that and find out how you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement in a little while. So Al Sharpton and George Floyd's family are planning a march on Washington this August. Sharpton announced the plan on Thursday while delivering a eulogy for George Floyd, a black guy who died last week after being murdered by a white Minneapolis cop, where the officer knelt on his neck for 8+ minutes as Mr. Floyd repeatedly gasped and said, "I can't breathe." We're going back to Washington, Sharpton told the crowd, specifically addressing Martin Luther King, who was in attendance, Martin Luther King III, that is. That's where your father stood in the shadows of the Lincoln Memorial and said, "I have a dream." Well, we're going back to this August 28th to restore and recommit that dream to stand up. This is the era to be dealing with policing criminal justice, he added. Now, the march would specifically be used to call for federal policing act, whilst any decent human being should be decrying the murder of George Floyd. Do Sharpton and Black Lives Matter, who only seem to care about black people killed by white people and cops, compound racism in America? Now, for transparency, Swoop is a black guy, and Swoop is actually an ex-cop too, so he has quite a interesting perspective with this.
Yeah, plenty of perspective on this. First of all, Al Sharpton couldn't watch Martin Luther King's jockstrap. Al Sharpton's been a race hustler for so many years. The thing that Martin Luther King stood for, not the thing that he or Black Lives Matter stand for. Martin Luther King said he wanted to envision a world where his kids were judged by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. And
right.
All Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matter discusses the color of everybody's skin. I mean, even Dave in the chat room just talked about an incident he had. Obviously, that's a racist attack on him.
Yeah.
Black on white. So we're talking about. You ask me if this compounds racism, it absolutely does.
Right. Absolutely. So I want to kind of, I don't feel that Black Lives Matter represents every black person in the United States, and clearly not every black person in the United States supports them. But for me, it's concerning that where is the public funeral for Captain David Dorn, who was a black guy, captain in the police, served his community for 40 years. Where is the outcry from the black community for him? Or am I right in saying that, Black Lives Matter only get pissed when a black person is killed by a white person? What about the black on black killings that they're not commenting on?
Well, there's a lot of intricate, deep things going on with Black Lives Matter. First of all, I find it appalling that we're always talked about the black community and who represents the black community. Why do we have to have somebody? Why do we have to be a block?
Right.
This is when you talk about systemic racism. Systemic racism is constantly telling people that they have to vote a certain way because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
They can't achieve something because of the color of their skin. You can't, all this, that, and the other because of the color of your skin. There's your systemic racism. Black Lives Matter is a lot of things. I saw a video the other day where these two white girls, probably Antifa types, were spraying Black Lives Matter on the side of a Starbucks, and this black woman walked up to them and said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "Well, we're doing this for you. She says, we don't need you to do anything for us. We can stand on our own. And now you're just causing issues when people see this that they're thinking all black people are doing this. No one group represents all of Black America. We're all individuals. We
right.
can support ourselves and get our own IDs. We can vote on our own. We don't need anybody to hold our hand and tell us what to do."
No, absolutely. And a lot of my friends who happen to be black are kind of saying the same thing, that this is not in their name, and that they don't support Black Lives Matter as a movement. I'm sure the sentiment was wonderful when it first started, but like everything, it's been politicized. But you've rebuked me before when I've been called racist on social media, and I actually go back at these people. You've always said to me, "Don't explain yourself. Why do you need to explain it? If you know you're not racist, why do you need to explain that you're not racist?"
Right. I mean, this is their offense. If you disagree with a certain portion, you're considered a racist. You're considered a Confederate flag waving, this, that, and the other. This is their MO. It's always been their MO.
Right.
One of the reasons that a lot of people are disgusted with the things that are being said. Even like Joe Biden when he said, if you don't vote for, if you have problems deciding to vote for me and black, well,
yeah.
you're telling me I have to vote for you because I'm black.
Yeah.
Come on, this is the kind of stuff that I think people are finally fed up with. I've been fed up with it for many a year, but I think people are starting to come around and get fed up with this kind of stuff.
Exactly. Now, since you mentioned that, I have to ask you: do you pass Joe Biden's blackness test? Will you be voting for him, or are you not black enough to vote for Joe Biden?
I don't know if I think I might get my black card revoked from Joe. The thing is, I don't appreciate anybody telling me what to do.
No.
I can ask my wife that.
It kind of.
Not along Joe Biden.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that joke where Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and Eve says to Adam, "Are we black or are we white?" And so Adam says, "I don't know. I'll go to God." So he comes back and says, "Oh, we're white." And she's like, "How did you deduce that?" And she said, "Well, God said." Adam says, "God said you are what you are." She said, "But how does that mean we're white?" So he said, "Come on, Eve. If it would have been black, it'd have said you is what you is." Oh, just kind of, because that interview with Charlemagne the God, he thought he was this ghetto kid with all the language and was down with it, and I was like, it was embarrassing. It really was. It was all about the black for him in that interview, and it really did. It really did make him look silly. So we're going to go from black to a different color. We're going to go to pink. Because did you like that segue? Because Pink is making her political convictions very clear and polarizing her audience in the process. Now, the singer who's 40 shared some thoughts about the upcoming presidential election in a video on Twitter. How can they call themselves a patriot American, or if you re-elect a president that doesn't govern or respect or represent half of our country? Pink said in the video. "That's not America. That's your America. That's not America," she repeated. "So you either worship the Confederate flag, which is not our flag, and it will never be, or you're a hypocrite that doesn't actually understand the meaning of patriotism or what it means to be American." The Dear Mr. President singer has been vocal in her support for Black Lives Matter, and over the weekend reposted the statement from Billie Eilish condemning the All Lives Matter counter movement. Is it confusing for celebs to be muddying the waters right now, especially on issues like Black Lives Matter? And I'm really curious, Swoop, what do you make of that ridiculous ceremony where all those people, those white people, were kneeling and crying and kissing the feet of black people, denouncing their whiteness and saying that they were sorry? I mean, I'm blown away.
It's patronizing. It's white guilt. You call it what you want. There's so many people out there that think they're, they think they're. Because I've heard a lot of these people that are doing this talk, and they think that they are helping the quote black community. It's like you need to show us what to do, and you need to show us the way, and we're behind you in your struggles. And a lot of things that are being reported out there, is being said out there, it doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. If you want to talk about science, you're talking about paint. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tangent here. I get a little worked up this week.
Yeah, I think we all are, brother. It's getting a little bit kind of confusing for the rest of us too.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to like Pink and her quotes, it's very interesting when you say half the country. Okay, so you're denouncing half the country,
Right.
which is actually not a true statement either, because I don't think it breaks down exactly half. But you're denouncing half the country because they have a difference of opinion than you,
Right.
and that difference of opinion results in you calling them names and calling them racist and saying that they live for the Confederate flag and whatnot. This is what we've come to. Talk about dividing the country. I think the division of the country, the people who keep pushing all this race stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. And as far as I'm concerned, it's coming from the left, because certainly this administration is doing all it can for everybody, regardless of the color of their skin, because he's not interested in the black and white separation, whereas the left seem to live for identity politics.
Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. It's everybody has to have a problem so that they can fix it, right?
Yeah.
You're disenfranchised if you're Hispanic. You're disenfranchised if you're black. You're disenfranchised if you're here illegally. You're disenfranchised if you're gay. You know what? If you put all the groups together that they say are disenfranchised, you have the entire country. So I don't know where they're going with this.
Exactly. How is this going to change, do you think, Swoop? Do we have to just carry on doing what we're doing and hope that people see through the stupidity, or do we need to kind of kidnap Nancy Pelosi and starve her of vodka for a month?
I think it's twofold. I think you got to do what you say and keep calm and carry on. But I also think that people have to speak up. I think we hear a lot of things being bandied around, and we accept it. We accept the fact that this horrible police officer who did this horrible thing is racist. There's no indication that what he did was because he was racist. What he did was because he's a jackass. Yeah. And he killed a guy for no reason. And you hear things about police out there hunting unarmed black men. Well, in 2019, nine unarmed African Americans were killed by police. Okay, out of 30 million blacks, out of a country of 330 million people. So I'm not saying it's right.
No,
I don't know the circumstances, but that's not police systematically running out, bedding down black people. So the BS gets bandied around and accepted and gets pushed by the media and social media and whatnot. People need to speak up and let people know that they're being led down a path.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because I said that recently and was called racist for saying it. Absolutely. No way should George Floyd have been killed. But I don't think that was necessarily saying, let me kill this black man. The guy was just an asshole, period. You could see that from his attitude. But this has been swept up by the left and turned into a race issue. And obviously, as soon as Al Sharpton can smell any money, he's on it too, and anybody else. I mean, I'm betting you Pink will be releasing a record soon that talks about, how black lives are being ignored or something in that vein. So there is an element of politicizing and financial stuff in all of this, I think. We do have to leave it there, Swoop. But tell people where they can find you. And has your show begun again yet?
No, but we've been doing we've been working out we've been doing some practice shows to get our sites back together and start to gel again. So I will be coming back probably within the next few weeks. Might even be a new name for the show, but Swoops World, you can find Swoops World on anything we're doing at swoopsworld.com and also on our Swoops World Facebook page.
Yeah, I think you should call your show I Am Black Enough for Joe Biden.
Don't want to be.
No, good, absolutely. Well, listen, Chet, it's been a pleasure to talk to you again, and let me know when your show is starting so we can include it in our mail out. But for now, have a great weekend and give my best to your beautiful wife.
Thanks a lot, Xander. Great talking to you. Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Swoop. Take care. That was the fabulous Swoop from Swoop's World. Make sure you check him out, and his show will be starting again very soon. So please be sure to support him and all of the other guests that we have on our show. CV says one can be an asshole because he's racist, or he can be an asshole because he's stupid. Either way, he's just an asshole. Yeah, I have to agree. Janie says, what if it was a black man and other races with him doing the exact same thing with the knee on the neck? I'm sure we would already know nothing would happen. Absolutely. Hello to Lisa. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to my first guest, the fabulous Dr. Gerard Lamiro. Thanks for Chet calling in. I hope we can get this Skype issue fixed. Where are we? Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can check me out 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 6 Eastern. Nope, sorry, that's wrong. 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 UK, and 12 the next day down there in Australia. On Monday's show, Ala Hawatma and Greg Schreiner join us. Thank you so much to everybody in the live feed. Thanks to God for giving us another week. Thanks for helping me get through this week. Please click the share button before you go. It is very simple to do. Share the show so other people know that you have watched it, and we can get lots of others watching the show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care, and I really do love you all. I do. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the other bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh, yes.